Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name's Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We're at Interop, New York, 2011, at the Jacob Javits Center, and on our program is Damian Giannunzio, the Product Marketing Manager of Diskeeper. Damian, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I followed your company for decades, dare I say decades. It's been, right, at least 20 years, something like that?
We just recently celebrated our 30th anniversary.
Wow. So maybe it was even longer. I remember reading columns and ads in InfoWorld magazine, and it might have actually been in the 80s, the tabloid InfoWorld that used to come out.
Certainly.
I'd read them religiously, and Diskeeper was always a prominent part every week of the magazine, and so I just remember seeing the logo and hearing about what you guys did. But don't want to steal your thunder. In your own words, tell me what Diskeeper does.
Okay, so Diskeeper Corporation, really we optimize storage across different infrastructures. We've always been evolving our solutions with new infrastructures that are emerging. Our Diskeeper product, Diskeeper 2011 being the current version, is really for direct attached storage systems. And what it does is intelligently prevents fragmentation on Windows systems. Now our Velocity 3 product, which we just released and we're very excited about, Velocity 3 is essentially a tailored optimization solution for virtual platforms. We support a variety of the most prominent virtual platforms, and we install within the Windows guest level, right? So we're above the hypervisor. We aren't doing anything at the SAN layer. And our agent is optimizing those virtual machines. It runs seamlessly in the background, automatically and invisibly, so that optimization that's occurring never impedes performance or productivity to do its job. It works on virtual servers and on virtual workstations.
So the challenge is that I have a whole bunch of virtual machines on a physical machine, and subsequently the performance of each virtual machine is impeded because the storage characteristics of where the information is placed is not optimized.
That's absolutely right.
But except the problem on a single system may get even worse because on multiple systems it just gets more complicated, having to deal with, let's say, eight virtual machines on a single physical. And so you take those things and you kind of divide them up and you say, okay, I'm going to put all my clusters in a row here, and then all my clusters in a row on this machine, clusters in a row on this machine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Something like that?
Exactly. You've really nailed it. The essence is the Windows file system is going to write files the way that it writes files at its level, regardless of the abstraction that's occurring beneath it. It could be directly on a PC, or you could have a SAN system operating with virtual machines above it. And unfortunately, there are tremendous resource bottlenecks which can occur regardless of how much hardware you throw at the problem. So really, Velocity 3 is there to ensure that from the moment of inception, when I/O begins, when files are being read, when files are being written, that the minimum amount of I/O is required to get the job done.
Makes a lot of sense. So what's been the response to that?
Overwhelming. People are in love with the product, and we've been seeing a lot of interest from people who are just starting to realize, because virtualization is still generally in its infancy with the way that we're perceiving it now in the enterprise. And people are moving to virtualization at the enterprise level. They're moving to virtualization at small to medium business, and they're starting to see that there are existing issues which persist in a virtual environment, and there are new issues. And fortunately, all of these bottlenecks, all of these slows, and these issues that they're having with the fact that their total cost of ownership is still high, can be addressed with the Velocity 3 product.
So, in terms of performance increases, do you give out any statistics on what sort of increases companies are seeing? Or?
We have a number of case studies. We obviously have our own internal white papers as well. Certainly with the caveat that anything is subjective based on the use case. But we tested with a virtual server running Exchange, and we saw increases on sequential read. For example, of 60%. So that's a performance increase of 60% on sequential reads.
But that was not a virtual machine, that was a single machine?
That was a virtual server.
That was a virtual
That's right, a virtual Exchange server.
Okay, wow.
And that's with a lot of tear occurring, which frankly is not outside of the norm. And realistically, something to consider is a lot of people are virtualizing their Exchange right now. It's a very popular and hot move, and obviously what we saw indicates that there are still major issues within the virtual ecosystem.
When you say they're virtualizing their Exchange, why are they doing that, just out of curiosity?
What they want to do is generally consolidate. They want to consolidate their physical hardware, and they're trying to move to a more performance-oriented environment. Virtualization affords you opportunities that don't exist in direct attached systems.
But generally, I mean, maybe our company is an unusual case. If anything, we keep having more and more data on Exchange, and if anything, our system's getting bigger. It's the last thing we would virtualize because it's taken up all the CPU and all the memory of the system that it's on. But maybe other companies have less email.
Yeah, they have less, or they're moving over in stages. They're moving over functional segments of the Exchange server.
Or they divided it up or something like
Precisely.
that. That makes sense, actually, for them to do it that way.
And that's a good way to evolve. It lets you sandbox and see, was this the right way to go? Am I migrating properly?
Sure. So what's next for Diskeeper?
We're really running hot with Velocity 3. And we're still, very excited about it. We're thinking, in the future, obviously, a new version of Diskeeper to revolutionize, once again, performance enhancements for direct attached storage systems. And certainly very excited about still our Undelete product. Undelete 2009 is still very popular. So looking at opportunities in those directions.
Well, hats off to you, a company that's had a singular focus for decades, and you've evolved and still a leader after so many years. So
Absolutely.
good luck for the next 30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.